Welcome back to another episode of Teacher Let Your Light Shine. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing a very frequent question we get asked in our Facebook group. That is, Start Your Microschool or Homeschooling Business. You just type that into the Facebook search bar. We would love to have you in with us in our Facebook group. It is free. It is an outstanding place for inspiration and support. And this question comes up very often. And over the past year of coaching many teachers and parents and starting their business, they will often come and say, I need a name. How do I choose a name? So in today's episode, I'm going to give you some really great tips, some suggestions of what to do and maybe not what to do, because I know that it feels like a serious ordeal. Feels like you're naming your child, right? But the good news is it doesn't have to last forever. You can always go through a name change, a business name change. As a matter of fact, my husband, he has a painting business. He has changed his name a couple of times, and it's okay. Now, it'd be great if we could get it right the first time, correct? But we grow and we change, and things become so much more important to us. For an example, my husband started out with a fun name, Oliver Twist Painting. And then he went into Pro Painting, and now it's Oliver Painting because his vision changed and his maturity changed in the midst of starting this business. So I am here to give you permission. I'm going to help you with some logistics, and I just want you to know that the process can be very piecey. Time will tell. You do have to put the parts together. But let this be an inspirational moment. Let's get started. Welcome, teacher, to the Let Your Light Shine podcast. If you're searching for the freedom and permission to design the life you love as a teacher, you're in the right place. I'm on a mission to help teachers just like you build their own dream school or homeschooling business. In this present day, the world needs you, teacher friend, to step out in faith and give students an education they love and so deserve. In this podcast, I will teach you how to start a fulfilling and profitable homeschooling business that lights you up. I'm Makenzie Oliver, former elementary teacher and instructional coach, gone homeschool teacher and business builder. I'm here to empower you to step outside the classroom and choose the experiences, the curriculum, and all the moments that put a smile on your face and your students. Does it seem like a dream? Well, it did to me, until God opened the doors and made it reality. Together, we are breaking through fears and moving the crowd. So get out your notebook, sharpen your pencil. It's time to get your teach on. Again, I have to mention to join our Facebook group, especially if this is something that's really been weighing on your mind. Just hop on in there. If you're already a part of the group and you've been thinking about a name, hop into the group, ask for some support, give your choices, and we would be happy to help vote for your school. We've done that a lot with some of our Facebook group members. I also want to let you know, before we get started, that I have 5 coaching spots available for the remaining year. That is for October, November, December. I'm taking 5 more coaching clients to end the 2022 year and help you get started for 2023. So head on over to www.teachersletyourlightshine.com/coaching, and you will be able to either choose a deluxe program where I will help you through 9 sessions over the course of your schedule, your time frame. If you're interested in just 4 to 5 times us meeting together, hashing out a business plan, getting you started with your marketing, you can choose the Jumpstart program. Wherever you are, there's also a breakthrough coaching session. Head on over there. You can schedule a time for us to meet, and I will work through your plan, your timing, wherever you are. Hold your hand. We meet through Zoom. You always have business goals and a time frame of when you can actually get everything accomplished. You always walk away with goals and to-do items. Take it from me. I know what it's like to do it on your own, and I know what it's like to also have help. There's no comparison. So again, that's www.teachersletyourlightshine.com/coaching. There's only 5 available, and the prices are going up in 2023. So head on over there and let's get it going. Okay, now let me tell you a little story about how I came up with the name, or God gave me the name, Lighthouse Learning a few years ago. And I want you to know that it actually was not Lighthouse Learning prior to actually starting Lighthouse Learning. Okay? For years, I had been working with my husband on this idea of starting a school, starting a preschool, but we are now in elementary school. And I just kept talking to him about, I could just see it in my mind what I wanted it to look like and feel like and sound like, but I couldn't think of a name. And we'd always just, it's like the sticky part. What am I going to name it? Because it feels like you're birthing a child, and you're birthing this idea. And I would tell him, I just want these children to just enjoy their childhood. I want them to embrace who they are and be able to run and play and just think outside of the box and be creative. And I don't want them to be held down with mandates and testing and assessments. And I just want them to think like a child. And I remember just stopping and saying, think like a child. That's what I want them to be able to do. And so I never, got stuck on a name, but I just knew that I wanted them to be running around, being like children, and just enjoying the moment. And of course that sounds woohoo, up in the air. There's no clarity around that. And so, of course, it took me time. It actually took, when I was sitting down at 2:00 in the morning, God had woke me up. I had my very first student coming over that was interested in Lighthouse Learning, but it didn't even have a name at the time. Again, we were in the midst of 2020. I'm starting this school very, very quickly. I didn't even have an introductory packet, but I knew that as parents came, they needed to know, what am I signing my child up for? I needed to have this presentation in a sense. So hence, that's how the introductory packet, and that's how all of the biz bundle documents got started. And I was sitting in my office, 2:00 in the morning. I had a little lamp on, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this blank Google Doc, and I'm thinking, what am I telling them that they're sending their kids to? Like, there's got to be a name to this, because it's going to be a business. It's going to be an LLC. What could it be? And I'm like, looking at a mind map that I had made of just a word splash, in a sense, of words that just continued to come to my mind about the children. And that's my first tip, is to start a word map or a word splash where you're just not even in a linear fashion putting words down. You're not even thinking of a name yet. You're just putting together words. Put the words down on a paper. And I knew, of course, it's in my house. I want kids to be happy. I want them to be free. I want them to be thinking. I want them to be loving what they're doing. And this is such a dark time in life. How can we be lights? How can we shine? And there it came, lighthouse. And I look at my lamp and I'm like, oh gosh, there's a scripture that says in Matthew 5:14, you are the light of the world, a town built on a hill that cannot be hidden. And it goes into more of a description. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. Instead, they set it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. There it was. In that moment, I'm sitting in my dark office staring at a Google Doc that's shining in my face and a little lamp. And there it was. Lighthouse. Okay, now what am I going to do? Well, they're going to come here to learn. Okay, Lighthouse Learning. I'm just going to go with that. Well, I did not know if it was going to be an academy or a school, or I had no idea at that moment, but I just went with Lighthouse Learning. And come to find out, what I did not do was I did not look at how many people had Lighthouse Learning as their school name. But it's okay, because this is what was given to me. There was a Lighthouse Learning in the state of Florida, but it was a discontinued name. You can look at that through the site that you're going to build your LLC on. So backtracking a little bit, I had my word splash. I was not scrolling the internet and looking for possibilities. That's not what I did at first. I feel as if sometimes we will start doing that and we'll get bogged down and we'll start adapting or adopting what we really want for somebody else's idea. So I just encourage you the permission and the time to brainstorm. Do a word splash of just words that you know bring attention to feelings and what you see and what you feel, this vision. You're not going to have clarity at the beginning, but you're doing the work to get there. Get inspired. This is another tip that I want to give you. Go outside. Get moving. Put your hands to work. Gain momentum. When I was creating this word splash before the school even started, I was outside with my daughters on a blanket watching them play, and I had my notebook out and I was just brainstorming these words. I wasn't scrolling. I was just staring at trees, staring off into space, allowing myself time to capture the word. Okay? And again, in that moment, weeks leading up to the moment that I was staring at that Google Doc, I still didn't have a name. But what helped me get the name was that I was working through the fog, so to speak. So give yourself time. Give yourself permission. You don't have to figure it out today. I promise the right name will come. If you're like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to steal that today, I better go get it. It's okay. Because if it's gone tomorrow, then it wasn't for you. You're going to come up with something else. And the name can always change. Don't be bogged down by all of these little details of what everybody else is doing and searching all these different school names. If you need some inspiration, you can go to the businessnamegenerator.com and they will give you, again, they're going to tell you, enter in some words. So this is why the word part, the word play is so important. That's businessnamegenerator.com. That's the only website that I've really seen that I've used for other people. But other than that, I know that the name will come to you because I've seen it over and over again with all of the people that I've coached and myself and on our own personal family businesses. I would also suggest to connect your name to any passions that you have and the community that you're building this for. For an example, is it going to be a nature-based program, a program that is a resource center? Is it going to be a program that is for socialization and project-based learning? You can start to think about how you serve your community through this experience. I'll tell you, someone said, oh my gosh, Lighthouse Learning, I love it. It's like you're the beacon for all of the ships coming in through the storm and the darkness. And I was like, yeah, that is. Yeah, you're right. That's what we're doing. And I actually had other people kind of pull that in together for me after I'd already started the name. God just gave me the name. I didn't get tripped up on it. Okay, Lighthouse Learning, I can change it later. And then other people started connecting the dots. So allow the community, even that you're trying to serve, give you some inspiration. Maybe you could ask through a poll on your personal page in Facebook. You can also create some choices, put them into our Facebook group. Let us help you by voting for you. But ultimately at the end, it's got to set well with you. I also want to encourage you to make it make sense. Sometimes we can get a little fun and get a little off track. For an example, happy faces. That's fun. That's interesting. But does it make sense with what you're trying to do? Of course I want the kids to be happy. And of course I want their parents to see happy faces whenever they come home. Does that really connect to what I'm trying to provide for my community? Is this what I'm going to be able to put on the back of t-shirts or maybe even have a logo on the back of my car? What would this look like? Happy faces. Is it Happy Faces Preschool, Happy Faces VPK, Happy Faces Elementary School, Happy Faces Microschool, Happy Faces Hybrid School? So even if you're going to choose, let's say Happy Faces, let's get a little bit more clarity there on what the happy faces are doing or how they are being perceived or the goal that you have for these happy faces in your community. A very important thing for you to do is to always do a trademark search. Let's say you've gotten some choices down, then you can go to your state website to create your LLC, or if you're going to do a non-for-profit, wherever it is, you definitely need to do a trademark search to see if other people have it in your state. You can also look at website domains. So for an example, Lighthouse Learning was already chosen in multiple areas of the United States, but there is not a Lighthouse Learning Microschool. Now, there's something to be said for this as well. When I first started out with Lighthouse Learning, I just kept it Lighthouse Learning. And then on my Facebook page, I was like, okay, what is Lighthouse Learning? Well, it's a homeschool community. So then I added that to my Facebook. And then I thought, well, it's more than just a homeschool community. It's not a co-op. It's actual private tutoring. So then I put private tutoring at the end of it. And then finally, I thought, am I an academy? Where am I going with this? And then ultimately we ended up with Microschool. So I could not have created a website that said lighthouselearning.com because that's already taken. But thank God I am the only Lighthouse Learning Microschool to be on the web. That is our domain name for our website, lighthouselearningmicroschool.com. Our LLC is Lighthouse Learning LLC because there was not another active Lighthouse Learning LLC in the state of Florida. You can also, one last tip is to really think about your business growth. And that is an example of that business growth going from the homeschool community to the private tutoring to the Microschool. And also consider a possible acronym. So for an example, Lighthouse Learning is just LHL. I know there's many people who have their acronyms that spell out something. That's not a must do. That's just something for you to consider, is even the acronym of what it can stand for, because you will be using that acronym a lot as you talk with parents and even do some marketing with those around you in an effort to either get donations or just become more personable with your community. I hope that serves you well. I look forward to seeing you in our Facebook group. Come on in, give us some choices, let us help you with the name, and help. Don't forget, continue getting started, working your way through, not getting stuck on the name so that you do not have analysis paralysis. We'll see you in the Facebook group. We're ready to help you solidify the name of this vision that you have. We'll see you there. Hey, teacher friend. Thanks so much for listening to today's show. I pray it inspired you, touched you, or challenged you in some way, because we are making big shifts and using our teaching gifts for God's glory like never before. I'm so grateful for you. The number one way you can support this show is to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts, and also share this with another teacher. Come join me in the Virtual Teachers Lounge, known as the Teacher Let Your Light Shine Facebook group. Until next time, keep shining your teacher light. The world needs you.